it is well enough underway now where I think we can make fair assessments of teams for sure. I think it would be great to both just dive right in and give our top 5 teams in the NFL.
Yeah, 5, I've got the Dallas Cowboys, number 5. And it's mainly because of that defense, to be honest with you. They've allowed under 45 points this season. One stinker against the Cardinals, which they lost, but that was the first week without Trayvon Diggs as well. So you can maybe understand that a little more. But this defense has all the feelings of just one of those historic defenses that can carry a team to a Super Bowl. I saw it with the Broncos with Peyton Manning's last season when he was kind of noodle-armed. And they've got Dak Prescott and Tony Pollard and CeeDee Lamb on the other side that are actually very good. So they can play really complementary football. They're really efficient on offense. I think that division is so tough, minus the Giants. So not sure if they'll get the 1 seed, but I still think with that defense, they can win any game at any time. And the offense is more than good enough and capable of winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't think you can argue much. The Dallas Cowboys are a very, very good team. They may have not cracked my top 5.
Ooh.
Maybe an honorable mention for them. I'm going to stick in the NFC East. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Eagles, actually. Hey. They are 4-0. It may not be the most convincing 4-0 ever, but the one thing I think you can buy into this side with and feel very confident is I don't think we've seen the best from Jalen Hurts quite yet. So I love the upside still. I still think they're one of the best teams in that conference, in this league. Jalen Hurts, 21-1 in his last 22 starts, which is crazy.
Nuts.
Something that they have there just continues to work week in and week out. So I'm going to have them in at number 5, and I am going to say that the Cowboys, for me, just narrowly miss out, and they're an honorable mention.
Totally fair, and I understand why, for sure. And when you look at these offenses, I've got the Eagles at 4, actually, so this is perfect. We can segue right into that. The reason I have them over the Cowboys is because I think their offense is a lot more explosive, and they can win games on their own. It's a lot more random, I think, relying on your defense to win game after game after game. They don't control much, right? Like you have to hope that a quarterback throws a bad pass or call the perfect coverage or whatever. Jalen Hurts controls everything, and we saw this weekend that offense kind of started to get rolling again. The offensive line is incredible, and 4-0 for a reason.
Coming in at number 4, my number 4 slot, I'm going to go with the reigning Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs.
They did not make my list.
Yeah, and I think I can understand why not, because let's be honest, 2 of their 3 wins have not been very convincing. Patrick Mahomes and the offense hasn't clicked. I think, if anything, one of the brightest spots of this team so far has been the defense. As soon as Chris Jones came back into that lineup, they have been one of the toughest units in the entire NFL. But I'm going to keep them here in my top 5 and put them at number 4 strictly because of the fact that I do believe they still have the best quarterback in the NFL. Anytime Patrick Mahomes is under center, you are going to have a chance to win the Super Bowl year in and year out. I think they'll go on to easily win their division, and when they're at home come playoff time, you don't want to be playing the Chiefs, right? So they're my number 4 slot, but I want to see more from them going forward. That offense needs to start clicking a little bit better.
2-0 since Taylor Swift has become a fan of the team, you know? Can't argue with those numbers. All right, number 3. I got the Baltimore Ravens. And yes, they lost to the Colts. Colts have proven to be a kind of a feisty team. There was a weird weather game, weird pass interference, non-call in that overtime game. I know they just beat a backup quarterback as well. The thing, and it's a bit of a projection like the Kansas City thing, where when they get fully healthy, if they ever get fully healthy on both sides of the ball, like they're doing this without a lot of key pieces, add those key pieces back in. Lamar is playing some of the best football of his career, I think, especially as a passer. When they get Odell back, when they get Rashad Bateman back, that unit will look better, and it's their first season under a new OC as well. So I think you just loved what you've seen so far from them and know that there's a lot more coming, whether it's reinforcements or just even being more comfortable in the offense. I love that defense too. Kyle Hamilton is a beast. Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith in the middle are incredible. Marlon Humphrey, you're going to get him back at corner. Like, they are just shorthanded, and they are 3-1 and running away with the AFC North right now.
The Ravens have been great. You have to be happy with the success that they've had despite the injuries, right? Number 3 for me, I know they just suffered a very, very, very embarrassing and tough loss this weekend, but I have to have the Miami Dolphins in the top 5. This team is all about speed. You got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert. These are all guys who are near the top of the league when it comes to, miles per hour tracked in the NFL this season. And then they have Tua Tagovailoa. I'm going to go ahead and call him also the fastest quarterback in the NFL. And what do I mean by that? Not with his legs, maybe not even with his arm, but with his mind. The way he's anticipating plays and reading the game and moving defenders, throwing guys open is truly, truly impressive. Defense, I have my worries. Absolutely. That was on full display this past weekend. But the offense is just way too good for them to not crack my list. They're going in at number 3.
I'm guessing we have the same 2 teams in the top 2 if we haven't mentioned them. Buffalo Bills at 2 for me. You?
I have the Bills as well, and that leads the mighty, mighty 49ers, I would assume, in both of our 1 spots.
Okay, so let's start with the Bills then, number 2.
Bills is a funny one because week 1, everyone was freaking out. I think both of us, to some degree included. Josh Allen was turning the ball over like crazy. But at the end of it, they are just so complete. They look like they might have the best defense in the NFL right now. And when Josh Allen is on, they're unstoppable. They're just blowing every single team out at will, really. They're my number 2 team for me. They just look so complete.
Completely agree. I think that defense is just there are some guys stepping up. Bernard in the middle at linebacker. They're gonna have to do it without Tre'Davious White for the rest of the season, which is heartbreaking. All that he's had to come back from, and Kaiir Elam has kind of been a disappointment so far since being a first-round pick. So corner spot is a little thin now with Tre'Davious White out, and we'll see how that affects the defense. But Josh Allen is just unbelievable, and it's kind of a reminder that he can do whatever he wants to do on a football field, and Stephon Diggs is one of the 5 best receivers in football, bar none. Like, he is so good, and they have these games that remind you of that. Their offensive line has been solid too. Like, I think the one thing in the past that people have kind of gotten on the Bills for is a lack of a run game, and James Cook has just been dynamite so far in that good run game. So that's a bit of a difference, and that defense, I mean, they're so underrated and so good. So yeah, Buffalo Bills at 2, and then 49ers at 1. I don't know how you can argue any other team. Brock Purdy is playing literally perfect football, 1 incompletion in their last win. Brandon Ayuk has been balling out, and all of his catches, I believe, have gone for first downs this year. Like, he is just the connection those two have. And then you talk about Debo and you talk about Kittle, and we haven't even gotten to the best player in football right now, the MVP frontrunner, Christian McCaffrey, who has scored a touchdown in 13 straight games, is breaking 49ers records, is breaking fantasy football, is breaking our minds. Like, they are the best team, top to bottom.
And then you go and talk about this defensive unit that has all these top, not only the highest paid players in their position, but they're some of the best in their position as well. Truly, with this team, it feels like they have no holes. The only worry that everyone had going into the season was, can Brock Purdy keep things going? Well, here's a heads up. This guy hasn't lost a regular season game in his career yet. If we had the time, everyone knows that I could probably fill an hour about me praising Brock Purdy and how he is just the perfect quarterback for this team. Kyle Shanahan has done a phenomenal job crafting the perfect offense and finding a quarterback who can just get everything done. And that's what the 49ers are doing week in and week out. You know what you're getting. A great run game, an efficient passing game, and some lockdown defense. And they are our number 1 team in the NFL right now, I think rightfully so.
They got a great one against the Cowboys this Sunday night. Like, that game is just going to be incredible.